Hi, and welcome to United Intentionally. I'm Agnes, Zimbabwean born, living in Australia, and this is Josh. I'll be doing most of the talking around here, and together we'll be taking you along our intentional travel journey. Today we're going to Malapascua Island, but let me tell you about those starfish. We got ferried from the resort to the main boat that would take us to the island on these canoes. And the guy who was pulling us in the canoe could hear me squealing every time I saw starfish in the water. So he started picking out some of the starfish with the different colors and handing them to me, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. He walked all the way to the main boat, pulling us in the canoes just so we could stay dry. I mean, we obviously were going to get wet, but I think it's also a safety thing because you're walking in the water with all on the seabed, and obviously they don't want anyone to get hurt. It was a bit of a bumpy ride, and halfway through, not even halfway through, I started feeling a little bit sick in the gut. So that gentleman with the cab came and started looking after me.
When the nurse turns into the patient.
Just before we got off the boat at the island, they stopped a little bit further away from the island to let us have a bit of a snorkel. I cannot swim, so Josh was the one who jumped in the water with one of the deckhands, and he had an absolute ball. He was just filming some of the fishies down there. It was a bit difficult, obviously, trying to capture some of the sharks because they had white-tip sharks. That area is famous for the white-tip sharks as well, but he had an absolute ball. And then as we were about to leave, we had to stop and rescue these divers who turned out to be Australian, apparently, who had got washed away further away from their boat, and we helped them. This is us getting off the boat at Malapascua Island, and it is just an interesting experience and an amazing experience. You're using those bamboo as rails, and they have these wooden planks. So we literally walked the plank, which was kind of fun because I was giggling the whole time. Obviously, girl's gotta have her champagne. That's what I had in that esky when I was on the canoe. And yeah, we managed to just chill at the island, have a glass of champagne, have some coconut water, and just relax. There were so many tourists on the island, but also it was nice to just see how the people of the land lived their lives. It was around lunchtime, and we could see some of the kids coming from school as well. So you will see that through the video. One of the things I love about going to tropical islands is being able to actually experience and drink fresh coconut water, because the coconuts that we get from our supermarkets here, they're not fresh, and it does not taste as good as a fresh one that is just literally being taken out of the tree while you're watching. Part of the package to the island included having a barbecue lunch, and it was fresh seafood. I mean, why not, right? Beautiful fresh veggies, beautiful fresh fruit, fresh seafood, prawns, chicken. Everything was just made fresh while we were sitting at the beach, and then they just called us over to the table, and we managed to sit down there and just enjoy a beautiful meal out of the sun, under the shade, with beautiful views of the water. I loved seeing the little kids playing around, coming from school, walking past, and they would wave. So one of the things I actually noticed was I was the only woman of color in most of the areas that we were, and I would have these little kids just staring at me, and even some adults, they would just stare. And if you would have the guts to actually come up and comment that, you know, I had beautiful skin or my color was beautiful. But yeah, I just found it fascinating. We wanted to explore a little bit more of the island, so we walked through the little neighborhood, and I remember feeling like we were walking through someone's lounge room, through someone's kitchen, through someone's house, because they're so close to each other, but everyone was just smiling and waving, and the kids were just running around having fun. Who can tell me what the main sport is played in the Philippines is? Basketball. Everyone loves basketball. And we came across these little kids playing basketball. You could be walking anywhere in their towns and you will find a basketball hoop tied around a coconut tree. The kids there are just laughing and having fun. And even adults. We saw so many adults just bouncing the ball, shooting some hoops. It was absolutely beautiful to watch. So obviously a short walk through the town or the village where the locals of that particular island where we were dropped off were, to the other end, and you could see plenty of fishing boats. Obviously, being an island, the main trade is fishing, and it was just beautiful. The water was just so beautiful and clear. I loved just being there. And I had to get Josh to do, you know, that little trend of that photo that you see people holding their partner, their better half up. So we tried doing that. That was so funny. And one of the kids who was playing basketball was filming, and you could just hear him giggling every single time we were trying. And then it was time to head back, so we had to walk the plank again. But before we headed back, we wanted to see the other side of the island, which is more touristy. So you've got most of the resorts and restaurants there. So we got back on the boat and made a quick stop on the other side. if you ever visit North Cebu, definitely get on a boat, go to Malapascua Island. It is a beautiful island, and it is also famous for its snorkeling, famous for diving. There was a lot of divers in the water, and you get to see the white tip sharks, and also just get to relax in this paradise. We were in paradise. It was absolutely beautiful, and the locals are just amazing, smiling, children just happy to see tourists. You would be in paradise. Definitely check out Malapascua Island in North Cebu if you ever happen to go that way. Thank you for watching, and if you like our content, please subscribe to our channel so you can get to see more trips and get more tips of areas that we travel to.